another episode of Set It Off. It's me, your girl, Simply Sin. You already know how this goes. Before we get started, I want to remind you to go ahead and make sure you click on that button in the bottom and subscribe. I tell you guys all the time, if you don't hit that button, you're not going to know what's going on. You're not going to keep in contact with us. You're not going to know what we're posting, what we're talking about. The next episode is coming on. So I want to make sure you go ahead before you do anything. Go ahead and subscribe. Hit that button, send this to somebody else, share it, comment, like, and so on. So you already know, on the other side of the mic with me, as per usual, my co-host, my best friend, the hardest working woman you will ever meet, the sweetest and caring friend, Miss Wendy P.
What's up?
Hello.
So what we have going on today?
I know, we got a lot going on. I'm ready for this.
Okay.
Tonight, we have, as you guys can see, we have a bunch of beautiful ladies here. I'm super excited for this. So tonight, I'm going to go ahead and start by letting everybody know how excited I am to have these four incredible women to the show. Each a powerhouse in their own right. They're hardworking wives, devoted moms, and fearless entrepreneurs, navigating life's unique path while all sharing the same drive to succeed. Different journeys, yet united in passion, strength, and hustle. If you know one thing about all of us, we fucking hustle. Let's get into their stories of how they balance life, how ambitious they are, and how they do everything with so much grace. Let's give it up for my girls, Cynthia, Marlene, Stephanie, and Val.
Woo! Just applause, guys. I'm the single one. They're the wives.
Okay, well, we already know. I always say this. I'll say it at the beginning. I'll say it at the end. You know, I have a friend who's always single, ready to mingle. Now we got another one single, ready to mingle. I'm ready to do this.
Wait. I don't know if I want to mingle either. I'm just a single. I don't know if I want to mingle.
You know the mingle part comes with being single, girl. You know how that goes. For sure. How are you guys?
Good.
Well, over here, you know, you can't have a girl talk night without having wine.
Cheers.
We got shots. We got it all over here. So we're definitely ready for this night. I'm super excited to have you guys here. I know you guys could be anywhere in the world tonight, and you guys chose to be here. So I appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you also for taking your time to be here. I know we're all super busy in our daily lives, and I appreciate it. You guys have been super supportive on our journey. And I've been waiting for this moment. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Wendy.
Yes. So we have a couple of questions. Obviously, it's open mic, so you guys feel free to jump in. So the first question is self-care and mental wellness. So my first question is, so any of you ladies, whoever wants to jump in first, what do you do for self-care?
I'm doing it right now. Self-care.
Cheers.
Cheers. That's one.
Step one for real.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Well, I will say I don't think I do enough. I think I need to be more intentional in that process. Sometimes self-care for me is the 10 minutes that I get in the car alone.
Amen.
At times, right? Talking to my girlfriends and chit-chatting and so on. One thing I'll say that I do try to do is at least get a massage, at least quarterly, which is also not enough. But at least quarterly, try to get a massage. That's what I do.
I just did that for my birthday, so I get it annually. But it was very much deserved and needed. I think I snored my way at the end, and she said, "It's okay." I was like, "Thank you. I needed this."
That's awesome.
That's definitely a long time, and I've come to the realization that I don't do self-care. Guilty mom, I do aftercare. And that just means that when I'm getting to the point of being burned out, I then start taking care of myself. And getting my hair and my nails done is not self-care. That's a lie. That is a part of keeping up and grooming.
Right.
Getting a haircut is self-care. So I think that my self-care is doing this. A random Thursday, being with girls and talking my emotions, letting loose in a good way.
I think it's interesting on my end because I tend to sometimes feel like because I'm the single mom and I'm doing everything by myself, I'm like, I wish I had a partner. And then I'm hearing you guys on the other end, and you're like, no, we're still burned out over here. We still
Yeah.
get this quarterly or monthly or annually pamper day. Like, and it's the same for me. I feel like there's never any time in the day. And I think we all get mom guilt. I feel like I get dad guilt also because he's not around.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting to see because I'm always like, oh, I wish I had somebody to be like, tag, you're it. And you guys are like, yeah, no, there's no tag.
Mommy
We're,
mode.
we're still in mom mode over here.
For real.
I had a conversation with my husband the other day. He had did some stuff around the house, and I was like, imagine how the single moms do it. I don't know how they do it because here I am with a full grown man who does help. I can't say he doesn't. And I'm just like, I'm in the people that actually have to do it by themselves because I do have two
Yeah.
Yeah.
friends, moms, and
It's a
I'm like, I don't
double-edged
know.
sword.
I think it's
It
like
is because
sometimes.
then you meet a guy and then they feel kind of emasculated because now you're this independent woman that knows how to do stuff. I know how to change the filters in my car and my wiper blades and build stuff around the house, and
Yep.
you know what I'm saying. And sometimes if I'm in a relationship, it's like if I'm asking you, I already have difficulty asking you, so I'm like, if you can't do it the first time I ask, I'm gonna get it done, and then it becomes
A
an
whole issue.
issue because you did it.
Yep.
Right, that's true.
So
I mean,
it's fine.
I think that I'm gonna obviously go off topic as I do per usual, but I think that the biggest problem that a lot of us have, and I say a lot of us because for about 10 years I was a single mom with two kids, and I think that what you just said was my typical answer all the time. Like, well, I'm already used to, like, I could change a tire, I could do this, I could do that,
Hmm.
but that what's going on with us women now is that we are forgetting our feminine side and we're becoming more masculine than feminine. So we think that we don't need a man.
Do you think that we're forgetting it, or do you think that men are becoming a little bit more comfortable with letting a woman, and then once she becomes that independent woman, then it's now you're taking my masculinity?
Yeah.
I don't
I
think
think
it's
it's when you've been
comfortable.
single for so long, because I was also single before I married my husband, and I was a single mom, and I was hustle and bustle and working overnights and career driven and going to school and trying to make it all happen because that's what you want to do with or without a man. You want to progress and you
Right.
want to make sure you're really good. And then it took me to meet. I always use the excuse, I'm type A personality, and da, da, da. I had no choice but to become even more type A as a single woman. But I met a man
Hmm.
like triple A, right? So he's like, sit your ass down. I got this. I haven't met the right man.
That's
Until
what
you
I
meet
think
the
it
You
is.
Right.
gotta
right
meet the
man.
right man for that. Yeah.
Okay, well, don't move to Miami. This is not the place.
Well, she
This
moved
is
to Atlanta.
not the
That's
place.
why.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to move
I
to
gotta move.
Atlanta.
I gotta move because clearly Miami ain't it.
Right. Clearly, we
No,
need to
no,
come to
no.
Atlanta.
15 years. I moved to Georgia for my husband, just like Sin. So
Yep.
I lived in my 15 years. And granted, I had to come out of state to find the right one.
Right.
Okay, there we go.
Maybe that's
That's
what
a
it is.
cheat code. We gotta move.
She's like, I'm at mine in New York. We just moved there. But look, everybody ends up flying theirs. You see, this is the spot right here.
So the issue is Miami.
Right. The issue is where we're at.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah. You got, how they be saying you
Well,
gotta
like
take them out the
temptation.
hood and
That's
shit.
really what it is.
Because
For
definitely
real.
Miami is a place of temptation.
Miami's a problem.
I love too. It definitely is.
Yeah.
Well, New York
New
is
York-
just like,
No, New York is Temptation Island.
no, it is
I
for
Wasn't
think
New
sure.
York rated the worst
Listen,
dating?
I don't think that's. I think that's a lie. I don't know where they did that survey, but I
Yeah.
think Miami's worse than New York.
Yeah, they were
I
saying New
think
York was
men
worse.
in New York are probably a little bit more aggressive, but like I feel like it's aggressive in the right kind of way. Out here,
Mm.
these men, I don't know, they want to be pampered and they want to be courted, and the roles are completely switched. I don't know what's going on. I done lost all faith out here, which is why I said I'm single and no mingle.
That's true. I don't blame you on that part. But let me ask you guys real quick. So how how important you think like mental awareness is to you?
Very.
Sometimes, like when you have a bit to yourself, sometimes it's like, oh, a little scary, where it's like you have to focus on yourself. I think that sometimes is part of being spiritual too.
Right.
You have to be able to be spiritual to kind of get your way out of it when you get influenced. I think I'm probably not the only one who does it, but people, you get
Like
influenced.
have something else to believe in.
Like, yeah, like my kids, God, like help me. Like I want, like Excuse
You
me.
are.
When you get a down moment in time and you're like, why am I feeling this way? Like I have a marriage, I have the job I want, I have my kids, I have my house. I shouldn't feel this way. And it just happens. I think that probably has to go with pampering yourself, but also having something to believe in and be like, hey, um, God, prayer,
Yeah,
Get you
people,
out of
you
it.
that's
surround yourself with
definitely
positive people, which I think that a lot of you ladies are very
that
positive.
that fit. Wow, those are such touching words. They touch my soul.
It's true though.
It's true.
But I
Sometimes
do
you
agree.
need that. You need to be like, you know what, Steph, I'll call her and I'll be like, this is how I'm feeling. And she'll be like, do this, do that, or don't feel this way. And you have somebody who comforts you.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think that everybody has done
yeah.
with different things, whether it's your family, your job, your kids.
I
Everybody has to, I feel like sometimes you have to talk it to somebody,
Yeah,
talk it through to feel like there's people behind you to help you and believe in something.
Mm-hmm.
what's important to me is believing in something. Because not for nothing, I could talk to all y'all. I was gonna say a bad word, but I can talk to all of y'all, and y'all gotta tell me. You're gonna tell me. It's so hard for me to like keep my words in, you know. So anyhow, I could talk to all of you guys, right? And I could hear amazing advice and tips, and you guys can make me feel good for the moment. But when I
Right.
hang up, I still feel the same way. So I'm not.
Right.
You guys are here. You're not gonna hold me and hug me for the next few hours that I'm feeling depressed, sad, or like I suffer from anxiety. So my anxiety would like be on another level, and I feel it's not here. Or I'll just wake up and I'm just like so down that I just want to cry and just cry. And I'm like, why the fuck am I crying? Like I don't even know the real reason behind
That
it.
happens
So
to me
can
right before bed.
yeah.
For some reason, right before bed, if I try to watch a movie, I start getting this anxiety, and then I start thinking about death and the kids, and then I just get like, and it's all the time when I'm about to go to sleep. Like I guess that's my moment where I'm actually relaxed, but then my mind is like
On
on
a
some
Okay.
dime.
other shit.
So let me tell you guys something on from my psychologist background. This is like I've learned through my training, but the best thing, especially for women like us that always feel like there's not enough time in the day to get everything that you want done and be the type of mom that you want to be, the type of wife that you want to be, the type of friend that you want to be, honestly, go on Amazon and buy like a gratitude journal and make that your priority. The same 5 minutes that you give yourself in a day to kind of hide out and take a deep breath, gratitude journals go a long way. Find one thing in the day. Start off with one thing in a day that you're grateful for. You could start off the day like, God, I'm grateful that I woke up today. I promise you, a gratitude journal will help you go a long way. You read through it, you get through it. And that's one thing that kind of helps with those anxieties and those kind of backwards thoughts because I also suffer from anxiety. I am bipolar, I have ADHD, and I suffer from depression. So I have every freaking acronym you can think of. So it has been a journey. And then we all have our own traumas, our past, our childhood, our upbringing, everybody else's thoughts. So if there's one thing I could suggest, gratitude journals, and that's for ourselves, that's for our self care, that's for our mental health. Because if you guys are not good,
Nobody
nobody
else.
else is good.
I agree, 100%. No, that's true. That's what I was saying. Like to me, the phone calls and being supportive. I mean, I have a great group of ladies around me all the time, but I've learned throughout my journey of feeling like this that just like she said, I speak a lot to God, and I think that that's what has helped me. And I said this prior on one of our episodes where we talked about healing, and I'm like everybody always tells you go to therapy, right? Some people don't like to do therapy. So I
It's
always
not
tell
easy.
find what's best for you, but find it because believe it or not, it's gonna help you. What might work for you might not work for me. What might work for me might not work for you. I've done therapy, but honestly, it didn't do much. But I felt like me finding myself and going to church and changing, my mindset on things and speaking more to God and just believing that through everything that I was going through, everything that I feel, I feel like I just got to speak to him and cry it out, and I end up always feeling better because one way or another, even when I feel like I'm in a chokehold, he always like brightens my day. So to me, that was
Hmm.
my way of feeling better. That's my way of feeling better. That's my way of healing. That's what helped me. And that's what I always. My advice to girls is always the same thing. Like, find what helps you. Don't just be like, I tried therapy. That shit didn't fucking work. I ain't doing that. Find something else because I
Yeah.
tried that
I feel
work,
like she
but
took,
I sat down in a
she took
church
the words
that
from
I never thought in my life I was going to go to because I used to hear about it, but I was like, okay, whatever. First of all, no disrespect to anybody, but I was born Catholic. I was born and raised into a Catholic family, right? But I would go to church on Sundays all the time. My kids still living in Miami, their dad took them, every Sunday, took them to a Catholic class, took them to this, that, but it wasn't doing anything for me. But when
That's just
I
like
was,
therapy. You have to have that connection.
when I was told to go visit another church, and I went there, and I sat there, and I would cry, like my tears would just come out while I'm sitting there. I'm like, pero is he talking? Ah, pues entonces él
Right.
supo para acá fue, because it would just touch me, and it was like, I'm like, and my kids would look at me like, Mom, why are you crying? I'm like, I don't know.
Right.
Oh, but then I go again on Sunday, and it was like the same thing. And then I'm like, okay, this man has it for me. Either he knows that I'm going through something, or somebody must have told him. Because how the hell, everything that I sat down, every time I sat there, everything that he said, I felt it, and I always cried.
Right. The message was for you. Yep.
Definitely answering me, answering my prayers. The messages were coming to me. Even I remember like it was yesterday. I went to church right before my court date, and right before finding out if I was going to be able to do the relocation. And I just sat there, and while they were worshiping, I said, just give me the sign, and just tell me if it's meant for me to go. Put it easy for me and let me just go. That's all I ask. If
Hmm.
it's not God, because you don't want me to go, because it's not the time for me, or you don't want me to take my kids away from their dad, just tell me something. But please, because right now I was desesperada. I had a knot in my throat. My anxiety was going crazy. I was calling freaking Wendy. I mean, I call her every day, but calling Wendy 30 times a day, going crazy, because I'm like, do you think we're gonna win? What's gonna happen? This is freaking me out. I'm so scared. Da na 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 na. Everything was just it was like everything was going bad at the moment.
Hmm.
I thought. So I was like, this is it. My life is gonna be over. Now I had a baby with a man. He lives in fucking Atlanta. He's never gonna come here. This is it. I'm a single mom.
A
But
single mom again.
I sat there, and I prayed, and I just sat there, and I was just talking while they were worshiping, and I don't know what it was. That day, the sermon was about, if there's something that's holding you back from taking that next step, this is it. This is your answer. And like I tell you, and I get goosebumps, because the whole entire hour that I was in there, I was like, this is the answer that I needed. He made it so easy for me, and I promise you, I walked out of there and I went to my mom. My mom, obviously, we're two different when it comes to, like I was going to a Christian church. My mom is into very Catholic, but I sat there and I was like, Mom, esa gente de la iglesia me dijeron que me voy a mudar. She was like, oh, who they told me that. She was like, oh, ¿y qué más te dijeron? I was like, no me dieron los números, pero me dijeron que me voy a mudar. It's coming easy, and I promise you, Mom, I felt it, and it was in my heart. And she was like, oh, and what else? But did you also pray for me? Like, did you pray for me in my house? I'm like, you see, there we go. I'm taking it far, because of course I pray for you, but it's not the same thing versus what I'm going through at the moment.
Hmm.
So, to me, therapy was not it. Church was definitely it. Praying was it. Talking to God. A lot of times I sound very crazy. I had this conversation with my man last night, and we were at the baseball field, and I'm like, I'm like at home by myself with RJ, and I'll be having conversations with him like he's a grown kid.
That's a good thing.
And then he's like, really? And I was like, yeah. And sometimes I forget that you're not even home, and I'm like talking, and I'm like, oh fuck, that's myself. Like, who am I talking to?
I don't know about that part.
I'm like, he's like, yo, you gotta be going crazy. And I'm like, no, like sometimes I'm talking, and even like these past few days that I've been, going through my emotions with my son, like I'll just start I have a candle lit up for like the next until it dies down, right? And I'm just like, I'll walk into the room all the time, and I look at the candle, and I'm just talking to the candle, like just talking to God, and just continue telling him everything that I have to tell him. Every time I walk into my room, I walk back out, and I walk back in like nothing happened. I'm like, if anybody hears me, they must be like, esta tipa está loca. Like, I mean, los tornillos se me están saliendo.
Mm-mm.
No, I think definitely, like for me, I think that every night when I go to lay my head down, I have a hard time sleeping. So I just pray.
Wait, let me ask you a question. Sorry to interrupt you. Is that something that happens when you guys are 40? Because I've noticed that everybody that's 40 has a hard time sleeping.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, you're literally right there.
I'm not there.
I'm almost there.
She's not even in her 40s yet.
I'm almost there.
I'm 2 year old. Okay. I don't know. I can't hard.
Cheers to being in your 40s. We're gonna go back to Cynthia's.
Wait, how old are
Thank you. She's
I'm
39.
39.
Oh, girl, you're already
No es
pushing
para
40
tanto
like
tampoco.
tomorrow.
Girl, you're right there too.
I'm right there.
Y'all literally right there.
3 years
Wait,
away.
wait,
like
no.
that.
Stephanie, you're in your 40s?
No, baby. No, no, no.
Oh, I'm like, I know you're not in.
She said, "Don't try it."
Oh, I'm like, because I know we haven't celebrated no 40th yet.
No.
No.
Look, you guys are like this. Knocking,
No, we
right?
have
They're
And
knocking. Gracias.
knocking.
They're right there, right behind us.
No.
Ahora que falta.
I'm going to be 31, so it's all good.
31.
Listen,
No. I'm embracing 40. What the hell?
Okay.
40 looks a lot better than 20 something that's out in here in
Thank
these
you.
streets. So, baby, I'm
Yes.
40 with pride.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
I don't.
20 pico and they look like 70
For
something.
real.
That sounds really
Not
good.
total lie.
You say that to yourself because you're in your 40s. That's fine. But I mean, because of course, I feel like I look good and I'm only in my 30s.
I'm not saying it
Only in my 30s. Girl, you're literally right there.
to me, okay? It's not because I think it is because people
But I mean,
tell me.
every time we hit a certain age, we always want to be like, oh, but we know we look good in age. But I know
Like
that.
my husband.
not the one that's fanning herself.
Oh,
when she's hot.
Right. I'm like, she got menopause.
Yes, you are. You wait. I am. Yes.
Oh my God. I can't do that. But yeah, definitely. Well, we all know that mental wellness is definitely important to all of us in separate, in different ways. But
I think that we could definitely improve by teaching our new generations, not waiting to talk about mental awareness when it's
Yes.
too late. It hits
Right.
everybody. Everybody has
Yeah.
a moment in their life, whether they are grieving, whether they're going through depression, whether they are anxious, whatever it is. It's just if you address these conversations with your little ones when they're little, they're not going to be shocked.
Mhm.
Hispanic culture is like a taboo. It's frowned upon.
Right, it's a shun. Don't talk about your feelings. You're okay.
Cultures with
You're
the
a
same way. So
teenager.
if you think that it's okay, like don't get mad at a child for getting upset and having feelings, or like walking and stomping, because in real life they're telling you what you want them to be honest with you. You don't
Right.
want them to curse you. You know what
I'm
I mean?
walking
But
stomp.
you know, I but a lot of the times you
Show
get
their emotions.
crying. Stop crying. Boys don't cry. Bullshit.
Oh
Boys
my
cry.
God, I'm guilty
No,
of
I don't
that.
like. Yeah, I don't like
I'm
that. I
guilty
don't.
of that.
No. I think part of the mental awareness is allowing your child to identify what those feelings are and sitting there and talking. I have a daughter who was set up like a boy. Like, I'm not gonna cry. I'm gonna eat this. You'll never see. Like, she looks fearless, whatever. But behind closed doors, it is a whole different ballgame. And I'm telling her, like, don't let that build up, because that's only going to create resentment, and you're going to come off angry, and you're going to come off, closed off to the world. You're going to miss experiences because you're so headstrong in I'm a Pisces. I'm a freaking crybaby. I cry when I'm happy. I cry when I'm sad. I cry when I'm scared. I cry when I'm freaking cry for everything. But that's my outlet. Llorona.
It's a Pisces thing.
Llorona. But that's how I
I think that's a woman thing.
Actually not.
No. I don't. Yeah, no. Definitely Pisces were
Right.
crybabies.
I'm a mush baby now, but I was very hard.
Marlene cries like once in a blue.
No, not
What
no
no,
Libra?
I Libras. I'm surrounded by Libras.
Yeah, her birthday's the same day as Cardi B and Mimi.
Ah, the 11th.
Yeah.
I've had my emotions.
Okay.
So many Libras this month.
Being serious.
There is. I'm surrounded by Libras too.
Too many Libras. Bro, you know how many Libras I
I'm
know
definitely
now?
surrounded by Libras.
There's a lot of Libras.
Libra.
They are everything I am not. They are
Es
creative.
que cuando ese frito en enero, the parents are getting busy. Lord. January and February, Jesus.
You got how
It's cold.
in September.
Ah, that Atlanta weather got you.
Atlanta's already full
I
of it
see.
too.
That cold front.
All right, what
Crazy.
go ahead to the next one?
All right, so you know we always got to talk about relationships. So, do you guys feel that love is enough in your relationship?
Hell no.
Love ain't shit, but thank you. Love ain't shit. Love is not enough, but what do you guys think?
I mean, if you believe that love is enough, you need to like get out of the Disney Channel. Because
Thank
you can't
you.
love, you can't.
Eso no
You
para
can't.
de
Yeah, it's not about
Love
money.
don't pay the bills. Exactly. Love no paga los miles.
For real.
It takes money, but it just takes more than love. It takes loyalty, it takes sacrifice, it takes communication.
Communication.
And all those things don't fall under love. Love can just be a feeling of, I want the
For
best for you.
real.
I'm not
Exactly.
for you. You know what I mean? So,
And I'm not convinced that everybody's in love. I feel like a lot of people are in lust or in love with the idea of love. I don't know. I feel like people freely use that word
Yeah, people be
way
using
too
my
often. It's
word for anything. I love
no,
my dog. I love the
yeah,
floor. I love.
yeah,
Mm,
no.
it's too
I
much.
love your windows.
Right.
You know, like, but I mean it. At
yeah.
least for me, when I say it to someone like him, I really mean it. Like,
Yeah.
and that's just, I guess, the way that I express myself to him. Like for me, I have to hear it, so I say it. If I have to hear it, then other people.
Hmm.
But I don't know if that's enough to like to
Sorry.
fulfill you as your entire life. No, I don't think
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
Yeah.
enough.
I mean, I'll tell you, I've been married. I've been with my husband for 18 years. I've been married for 15
Amen,
years.
girl.
Woo. Sheesh.
Right,
Cheers.
girl. Been a journey. But what I will say is that love is not all, right? It's respect, it's communication, it's commitment, it's sacrifice on both ends, right? And I think that when I look at my relationship, the reason that it's been successful is because we were a team more than anything, right? And when I'm not at my 100%, he holds me down, and vice versa,
Right.
right? And we are in this game, a world of life together. And I think that no, love is not enough. I think respect, I think communication, all of that plays a huge
Compromise.
compromise, a
The give and
huge,
take. Yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
Compromise is big.
for me, if I got angry, I was a certain way, and I did it this way, and it worked. It didn't work because he's like, it doesn't phase him. So I had to like mold myself to the way he would like respond to when I'm upset. Just the
Right.
Do
way that
y'all
I
feel
would.
like are your husbands like the opposite of you?
Girl.
Yeah.
She
100%.
Absolutely.
said, girl.
Yeah, absolutely. He's everything that I'm not, but everything that I need, if that makes
Right.
sense,
So he's
right?
like your strong points where you're weak.
Absolutely, right? Like he's a yin to my yang in that sense. But he's very much you know, old school machismo. He's strong headed. He's a man's man. And at the same time I don't think I would want anything else but that. Because my
Right.
personality needs that.
Oh no, baby, for real.
Right.
Yeah. Agreed.
Baby
I
bombastic.
King,
girl.
I know.
I think that that's part of the reason I'm not married. I just feel like people these days are so quick to jump out of a relationship with something doesn't look like their picture perfect
Hmm.
without realizing that there takes so much more work. Like I was watching Love is Blind the other day and this man was like, I don't want to get married. I want to die married. And that shit stuck with me. I'm like, that's it.
I watched
I don't want to
episode
get
earlier.
married to say I'm married. I want this to be forever. I
Sure.
want somebody that's going to say, you know what? Divorce isn't an option. We're going to find a way to stick this through. And I don't care if you're super low and I don't care if I'm super high. We're going to find a way to meet in between. And right now, baby, these streets are basura.
We're going to Atlanta.
Yeah,
I
I'm moving
Over
to Atlanta.
there.
I'm going to Georgia, guys. Like, I don't know, somewhere.
Good.
No, I was to say, I have to say, thank God I don't know what these streets look like. But one thing I tell you is, if you upset, you better turn around in that bed upset. But we're gonna stay in this bed together. That's one thing that I'm
Right.
gonna
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. I agree. But I also think that I don't want to blame. I don't want to say that the streets is at fault for the men because I think that you shouldn't. I think that you shouldn't be looking for men in the streets.
No,
Not
I mean, what you're gonna find a man somewhere outside. You're not gonna
Yeah.
find him at home. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean about the streets.
What I'm saying is like you can't expect. My thing is if I because I have we have her and I have a mutual friend that she always used to tell us you know situations that she would go through with her man and sometimes you want to be there for them but the thing is I try myself to hold my mouth because you know what you got
let me
right
help you.
you know you know what you put yourself into you know what you're dating so you got to be prepared to deal with the bullshit because I cannot sit here and find myself a man in the clubs that likes to be in the clubs and then expect for him to be mad for me and then expect for him to not want to go to the club, but I met him at the club. Right? Because then that's the same thing we say about us girls. When they be like, oh, you
That,
want to be out in the club all this thing with
that's
all the time,
bullshit.
change
No. That's
your
bullshit.
you
I don't
met me at
agree.
the club. that doesn't mean that I have to stay in the club the whole time. So if the man can tell us that, why we can't tell them?
If
I
he
was
Because
works there.
in a relationship.
right. So to me is if I sit here, if I met a guy and he's a promoter, I can't be mad because he's in the damn club every weekend. He's a fucking promoter. You understand what I'm saying? That he, that he is,
You're so
let's
stupid.
just say he does, he's an entrepreneur, so he travels for work. I can't be mad because he's traveling for work all the time and he's not giving me that attention that I require if I'm a needy person. So at the end of the day, you can't sit here and say, well, all these men are all the same, or all these men do this, or all these men do that. Well, then you need to change where you're finding your man, because if you find them, like me, for instance, I found mine in family, but at the end of the day, he came with a
That don't count, bro. That's a
We're going
person
to that
setup.
family.
Right.
but that don't mean that because he didn't come from a family that he don't have a fucking reputation. So guess what? He comes with a reputation, right? Vice versa. I
Yeah,
come
yeah.
with a reputation. So we gotta either make it work, take that fucking reputation, hang the fucking jerseys, do whatever the fuck you gotta do. But I'm not gonna find them perfect. All men are, at the end of the day,
No
are
relationship.
all
I don't want perfect.
Yeah,
I don't want
no.
perfect because I think that that's a very you're setting a standard that somebody has to
We're
live
not
up to.
even
I don't want
perfect.
perfect. I'm not
Yeah.
perfect. I'm very flawed. What I want is to lay my cards out on the table, tell you these are my flaws, and for you to want to accept and play the game with me regardless. Like this is shit that I can deal with. I feel like where I'm at, regardless of whether it's been at church, whether it's been at work, whether it's been in the club, whether it's been out wherever. Mm-mm. I don't. Maybe it's just the Miami Heat got these people fried, but it's not. It's not. I don't think I've ever struggled so much in
Here.
relationships as I have since I've lived here. But I can say that without hesitation.
I'm gonna say this because I'm the only one I think
yeah.
that has been married, not once, not twice, but I'm on my third marriage,
Third time's a charm, baby.
my third is definitely my holy grail, my charm. But even if you do take that step because you have faith and you have, like I saw something that I thought could be forever.
Right.
I never ever stop putting myself first. Not my children. Your children will grow up and leave. Not my son, special needs, very different scenario. But the minute you're not really for me anymore and you're showing me you're not for me, a lot of people make that mistake. They stay in a relationship because they have to. They stay in a relationship because of the kids. They stay in a relationship because of the money. They stay in a relationship because they don't know how to operate without the relationship. So
Right.
you got to put yourself out there and mingle in order for you to weed out the bad ones. I'm all for, meeting people modern ways, and whether it's online or whatever, because you're weeding people out. Like, what are you looking for? Are you looking for
Right.
the? What are you not looking for? I'm put all your cards on the table on the first 3 dates. I don't want to date you after that. I am very upfront. Like a lot of people don't want to lead with, I have a disability. Before my husband, I used to tell people I had another job or job that I worked at before. I'm still in law enforcement. Lies. I retired at 26 on
Hmm.
disability. And guess what? When I met my husband, I was like, I'm not lying to you about nothing. This is what I come with.
Right.
You now with it, keep it moving. And you
Right.
be honest with the person. But there's hope out there. There is.
Keep up a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's hope in Georgia.
Yes,
Clearly.
oh, there's a lot of here, and there's a lot I don't. You can
Just
find
find
me a
another
lot.
family.
No,
We're talking about. Are we?
No, there's a
Y'all
lot of.
tapped out.
When you say, hold on, let me think about the last family party I went to.
Stop thinking. Stop thinking.
I think everybody's tapped out.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I was talking
Yeah.
about.
You see, it's the
It's the 42.
it's
It's
the
the 42.
alcohol.
And not 19.
It's definitely not 1942. Damn.
Damn, that would have been a good little thing.
Oh my God.
All right. Maybe next episode. You gotta invite me back.
I like 1942. I used to pop those bottles.
I'm the only one that's.
You're not an alcoholic, but you just finished.
The bottle girl.
She is.
What was the helicopter called?
Mm?
What was the helicopter called?
Oh, girl. Damn, we gotta put that shit on.
Alcoholic.
But she
Back
finished about
in our days.
Yeah,
That
but
is,
that's
I did. I had one little cup.
I can't. Okay, so what? Okay, so you're married.
I'm sorry.
You're married. Take it off. You're married,
Take it off.
and you're single, and you're like going through like a divorce. You're kind of widowed sometimes. Like,
We're not doing that.
listen, I was already told one time. I was already
Nobody.
told one time we give that person no credit. So, fuck it. Okay, so basically we have a little bit of everything, right? We got single. Wait, were you married before or no?
Girl, that's enough. I was married by force.
But you was
That's a
married.
whole. That was a whole other. No, married by force. That was not. Yeah,
that's a
that's
whole
that's a
that's a whole
whole
other
other. Yeah,
podcast.
that's a whole other
Other
podcast.
episode.
Okay, that's maybe a whole other episode.
Okay. No. I was just saying because I wanted to know like what was the difference between being married and
Yeah, no, it's not anything that I could compare to. It was literally married by force. So there's nothing. No, there was no unison. There was no. It was literally force. Literally, like we're at the courthouse. Get the fuck out.
oh shit.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
So, like I said, another girl talk. Another another podcast. Let's save that one.
I feel you on that. Okay, so my question to you guys that are married. We're gonna get a little bit personal right now. Being married, right? And then I'll get to you because obviously you wasn't in a relationship before. Being married, being a wife, working, doing your duties, cooking, cleaning, um, having dinner for your man, attending to your kids. We're all baseball moms here.
Yeah.
And so,
How do you baseball, softball? How do you
This another one.
marriage? Sex is important, right? It plays a really big role. So how do you think that marriage works if people don't want to have intimacy?
But do you think that sex is the only form of intimacy? Is that what you're saying? Like you're specifically talking about sex, or you're talking about intimacy as a whole?
Overall,
I
in general,
think that for
intimacy.
me, I have a 2-year-old, so I like to communicate and have conversations. So that's, I guess, another form. But for us, it's just difficult to get it in the schedule, sort of thing. I have a 2-year-old who likes to sneak back into my bed. I have a 7-year-old who also likes to sneak in my bed. So it's always very, like, not to say scheduled, but it's not something that we're worried about all the time.
Okay.
But I also don't feel like it's like, oh my God, I'm worried. So, but
Yeah.
it's hard.
Hmm.
There's so much going on, and with 2 little ones, it's not easy to always
Leave
be.
them in your room and go somewhere
Right,
else.
go to the bathroom.
Leave the kids in your bedroom.
That's
Mommy, be right back.
Yeah. I gotta go test this mic out.
or take advantage that someone has me here and the other one's over there. We're both home alone. Oh my God, let's And sometimes it's a funny conversation between me and him where we're by ourselves, watch some TV, and eat some popcorn or eat ice cream and just chat it up. But I think that it's not easy for me, my personal, to always have that.
what I'll say is I think intimacy requires intentionality.
Hmm.
I'll just use the word intimacy. Like date night is very important to me. Quality time is very important to me. And so,
Amen.
well, in my job, right? Like my family knows, oh, it's Thursday, it's date
Date
night.
night.
Everyone knows this, because I make it a point, right? Like it's a matter of commitment. And I think that whatever form of intimacy that is, it's intentional. And I think that you guys have a conversation about it and you see what's important to you guys and so on. But just like anything in life, you have to make an effort regardless.
So are you making it up to your husband today because it's Thursday? Did you skip out on date night?
Went to date night yesterday, boo.
Oh, okay. She said now we reschedule.
When we had the baby, our date nights were when they were sleeping and we picking out a movie.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
it was popcorn with
Netflix and
that
chill.
counts.
and just sitting and But now because we're tired, it's like date night. It's like date night. And I'm looking at him like, are you serious? You picked out the movie. You said you wanted to watch it, and you're snoring.
And same night that we have to go
No,
out.
No.
We can hang
right. No, I think you're right. It's the intention behind it. Whether you fall asleep or not, you guys both put the time in to
Yep.
make that. Whether you fall asleep or not, you guys both were on the same page and made that happen.
And for me, on my end, it's most of the time, and this is where the compromise comes in. It has to be what he's watching or what he's doing, because I can't complain about him. He's not wants to go out. He's not someone who smokes. He's not someone who drinks too much. So he
No
doesn't
tiene
have
mano
to.
vicio.
No,
Yeah.
so his thing is watching TV. So it'll never be something where I always argue with him. It's never going to be something that I'm watching. You sit down and watch with me. It's always like, what are you watching? And for me, that's my compromise where I want to spend time with him. And to be honest, I know that he enjoys it because if I ask a question, he's not one of those people who's like telling me to shut up. He'll answer my questions and tell me everything that is going on so that I am filled in.
Oh, your
So
husband is good. He'll pause the TV, be like, what?
Oh,
Sometimes.
That's
Tell me now. What's the question? Hurry up, talk fast. You're taking too long. And then he'll press play.
Because if he's really into it, he has to pause it. And he'll look at me like, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But he'll still, answer my questions. So that's how I get my time with him most of the time.
And you?
Mine is communication is my first form of intimacy.
Communication is us dressing the same. That's disgusting.
I know, always. My bad habits. But for me, it's telling you exactly what I want, when I want it, how I want it, and it may not play out when I want it, but if I need something, I don't care if it's a kiss on the forehead before you leave to go to work. If I say, hey, I noticed the last few days you went to work and you have not kissed me on the forehead, take note, because I'm taking note.
Hmm.
Accessible to you, like I'm giving you the opportunity to fix it because that's where communication. You don't tell them, they don't know they have a problem. Then those 3 days turn into 3 months, 3 years, and all of a sudden, no, because now we don't even kiss each other anymore. Hello or goodbye. So I start with there, and then another thing is knowing your partner. Yeah, it's an Aries thing probably.
Yeah, we know.
We're both Libras and both married to
Aries.
days apart
Man is the area.
ourselves, but like
I have
for
to
me,
be
another thing
mindful
is
too.
what?
I have to be mindful too. Where it's like before, if I ask for a kiss walking in or walking out, he's like, "Well, I already gave you one. I don't care if you left the house an hour ago and come back in."
You gotta give me a kiss.
So my mindset is, what if it's my last time seeing you? Like you just don't know. So don't count how many kisses you gave me. And then I saw something on social media this week, which I'm gonna do a video on. But I'll share it with y'all. It says 4 hugs a day builds connection. 8 times a day builds support. 12 hugs a day is growth. So I
I'm about to
have
start hugging my man right now.
hug right now.
12 times.
And guess what?
In 1 hour.
You immediately want to think of your spouse, right? Or your partner, right? But like even your kids. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Even hug for hug. Because you know what? You don't know who needs it, when they need it, and what that does for them. Their endorphins, whatever. Just brings you that happiness and that joy. So that's one of them. And another thing that is so frowned upon, you're gonna have relationships that are really like rabbits. You're gonna have one out of two, maybe like a rabbit, and one is like a bunny, or not a bunny because I don't want to think of you, but you know what I mean. But it is okay if you go through not a dry spell, but like if you go like this and you go from twice a day to twice a week, and so many people want to talk down upon that like it is a negative thing, but life happens, stress happens, and people don't think that men can be stressed like women.
Right.
At the end of the day, we find connection and we find time, but sometimes you have a kid, work, we are working different schedules, we're out of town, whatever, you make time to communicate and do things like that. Happy Olive, I love you.
I think it's important to know how people talk about people's love languages. I think it's important to know what your partner's love language is for sure,
Yes.
because the way that we receive or we interpret how somebody loves us or how somebody's trying to assure us is different from what our partners might be. So I'm big on knowing what somebody's love language is, so that you're feeding in and pouring into them the way that they need, not the way that we're accustomed to showing it on our own.
Hmm.
Like
I think what
I words of affirmation, random acts of kindness, I'm big on that.
Yeah.
Gifts, all that shit I really don't care about. But reassure
for me,
me, random
I think
acts of kindness. Do see if you see where I'm failing, like you guys were saying, if you see where I'm weak, be my strength. I love that. But that may not work for my partner. So I think again, understanding what works for them is important, because I think that that's where the gaps start to come in and the dry spells start to come in, because you're not reassuring me or pouring into me the way that I need you to pour into me.
yeah, I think I don't know if it was you who told me, but it's like I took the test a long time ago, and she was like, "You got to take the test often because
It
your love
It
language,
changes.
changes.
who you are."
It
And
does.
I
I
never
took it
realized.
years ago.
We were talking
Oh, I'm
about
It
sorry. We
does.
have a here, and the shots are here, so let's go.
Ooh.
Oh
Shot,
shit.
shot.
Okay, I guess we'll have our drinks.
Let me pour
Shot
some
o'clock
more.
somewhere.
This Thursday. That's crazy.
That's it.
It's the producer in the background for me, the director.
Let's
I'm
Oh,
go.
not
she's double cupping.
Stop lying, man. Stop lying. Stop.
Salud.
This is yours.
Salud.
Cheers.
Que
Let's go.
belleza sobra, mi amor.
No babysitting.
Why you did that and then $18? Oh, there's one right there.
Do something sweet.
I told you support.
Ahora yo quiero queso, salami, olives.